During our next few minutes together, we will be discussing the proper techniques involving diagnosing automotive emissions-related problems. By 1. Identifying the mil code or the malfunction indicator light, making sure it is on. 2. Having the proper tools. And 3. By getting in the habit of doing the basic things first. Let's get started. When a customer comes into your shop, typically the first thing you should be doing or already are doing is making sure that the customer divulges any information they have on the concern of their vehicle. You want to make sure that they are telling when the light came on, what conditions they were under when the light came on, things of that nature. If there is no check engine light, what you do want to do is ask the customer what situation did the light come under. Same thing, but you're going to want to get like a scale, or you want to build a picture of what is making that light come on. What times of the day? Is it in the morning when they turn the car on, or at night when they're shutting the car off and letting it sit on the driveway in the garage? These things are important. You also want to know what the setting was, whether at the gas station, because if the check engine light comes on for a gas cap light hitting an emission code off, then it's probably from that gas cap light that was left open at the gas station just recently. So it could be something simple, or it can be really complicated, like a emissions leak that's going to be hard to find. So all of this information is very helpful in the end result. Let's move on. Having the proper tools is a crucial part of the job as well. I know these tools can be very expensive, but the automotive industry is increasingly changing in its technology and how the government is forcing these car dealerships and these big names in the industry, such as Ford and anything that comes in the U.S., it's forcing regulations on emissions, and it's the emissions, or the gas that's being emitted from an exhaust pipe. It wants those emissions to be very low. Every year there's newer and higher emission standards. Therefore, the companies have to make vehicles that meet those standards. And when engineers are crafting these motors, or they're making these new components, such as a catalytic converter. If you look inside a catalytic converter, it's like a honeycomb shape, and that's at the back end of the vehicle. It's underneath the car. It's in the muffler. We all know that, and we're all familiar with it. Sometimes we just take it for granted. But nowadays, the motor is built around this cat. That's what we call it for short. The motor is built around it. The O2 sensors that are reading what is going through the cat, both before and after, are calibrating and telling the motor how much fuel and air mixture and what the ratio is. And what the automotive industry is trying to do is make sure we get the most volumetric efficiency out of the combustion chamber inside of the motor. So if we can get the best volumetric efficiency, and we can do that by establishing what the parameters are inside of the catalytic converter by measuring the exhaust gases coming out of the motor through the O2 sensors, therefore we can get a cleaner burn and meet those regulations that the government is making these companies uphold. Now, it's important that we have those proper tools, such as a scan tool. Like we said in the beginning, the first thing you're going to want to do is verify the customer's complaint. You get in the car, you check the check engine light. When you check the check engine light with your scan tool, that scan tool is going to put you in the right direction. It's going to tell you more or less if it's an emissions code, first of all, and if it is an emissions code, what part of the system is probably failing or having a misreading of information. If you don't have a scan tool, it'd be really wise to invest in one. They generally run around $13,000 to up to $3,000, but you'll quickly get your money out of that scan tool. You'll learn. If you're having to turn down customers and send them to a different shop, you're losing money, and that money can be easily made when retrieving those codes and that information through that scan tool. Another tool that you should have in your shop is a smoke detector or a smoke out detector. And what that does is putting smoke through your vents and through your emission system, and it's smoking out any leaks, any possible leaks that are running through your emission system. It's a very helpful tool, and it can be used in many settings, and it's very good to have in the shop, and it will pay off, such as your scan tool. You're also going to want to invest in having your technicians go into a lot of training. There is much training, and that's the best thing you can do for yourself and your shop.